The Hacker Vector is part of a series of EPP indoor-capable 3D models from the Czech Republic. Inside the box is basically a bunch of flat pieces of pre-printed foam. There are 9 major pieces and about a handful of minor pieces that make up the airframe assembly. The factory paint scheme is sharp and quite colorful. All control surfaces are pre-hinged using the EPP foam surface skin. The wing spar slot is also pre-cut from the factory. The manual has very few words and relies on comprehensive images and special symbology to detail construction, so pay special attention to the legend. Start with the fuselage crutch and glue on the wings with medium CA. It is a good idea to use some weights to keep everything flat while gluing. I should note that 90% of the construction is done using medium CA. A little bit of accelerator speeds things up. Open up the spar slot with a hobby knife, then glue in the wood spar. Be sure the spar is thoroughly glued in. Then move on to gluing on the horizontal stab. Now glue on the bottom fuselage, and then only one of the diagonal lower reinforcements. The second one will be glued on later. The plastic control horns come in a handy little fret of parts. Again, use medium CA to glue into the pre-cut slots. Now we move on to the landing gear. If you look closely, there's an indentation on the wheel pants where you poke the axle through. Glue the axle reinforcement into place, noting that there is a left and right hand side. Next, assemble the landing gear assembly per the instructions. I found the parts a little bit fiddly, but not difficult. I occasionally needed to sand a slight bevel onto the tips of the cover rods so as to make them easier to slide into some of the parts. When done, you should have 2 neatly made struts and axles. Install the struts into place and check their position before gluing everything into place. Slide the wheels into place and then glue on the wheel pants. The included aileron arm screws into the stock servo horn. Be sure to cut off the extra arms. Instead of CA, the servos are glued into place using craft foam glue, though you could probably use CA as well. The control rods are assembled using heat shrink and CA glue so as to secure the included Z-bends. I did need to remove the little metal clips from the screw connectors in order to get the control rods to fit. With the top fuselage glued in, it finally starts to look like an airplane. Glue in the tail servos, add servo extensions, and finally glue on the second reinforcement. Installing the rudder is deja vu all over again if you built the wing correctly. With that, it's on to the wing fences. Note that there are 2 sizes, with the larger one mounted to the inboard of the wing. Even the tail has fences, so as not to be left out. For the fiberglass motor mount, lightly sand one side and glue that side to the fuselage with, you guessed it, CA. Speaking of the motor, we'll be using the Rimfire 250 100-watt motor. Electrify 12 amp speed controller, and a Flight Power 250 mAh 3-cell battery. With the motor mounted and speed controller installed, we have an airplane. So join me next time when I take her for a spin.